When I was a little kid, about 9 years old, I lived in a safe Southern California suburb. It was one of those World War II boomtowns, where the population was mostly aging baby boomers whose kids were too old to be playing in the streets. It was kinda like how neighborhoods are today. No one was outside, everyone was indoors. It was the 90s, and my parents let me walk home every day from school. It was the same route, up the hill, down the hill, around the bend, and a mile to my house. One fall day, I was walking home with my heavy backpack filled with textbooks. I hated how much the weight pulled down on my shoulders. The padding in those JanSport straps wear out so quickly. But anyways, I was halfway home, descending the hill, and made the best of it. That's when I heard a car start up behind me. Since it was the 90s, I had stranger danger pounded into my brain for as long as I can remember. I glanced behind me and saw a beat-up old 70s work van with tinted windows. The black paint job was fading everywhere, and the van was quite weathered. I thought it was scary, but I reasoned that it would drive away soon enough. It didn't. I walked down another block and saw that the van had moved with me, engine running, idling on the side of the road about a block behind me. I wanted to run, but I couldn't. I didn't have anywhere nearby to go. And besides, if I ran, I figured whoever was in there might act. I reached the bottom of the hill, rounded the bend, and sure enough, the van pulled around the corner and sat at the curb, always staying about 20 feet behind me. I knew my parents would beat the ever-living hell out of me if I dropped my backpack and lost my books. So I jogged along the street, looking for help with my goofy overfilled backpack leaping up and down on the back along the way. I looked back and saw the van, literally creeping along the road towards me. It was then that I remembered the one family with kids along my route. They were on this street, and usually playing out in the front yard. I was praying that they would be there, but the yard was empty, and the lights were off. So I calmly walked up to the front door, got out my keys, and pretended I lived there. I figured if I rang the doorbell and no one answered, I'd be doomed, so I had to act like it was my house. I leisurely stood in the yard and called out, "Hey Dad, I'm home." Then I looked back at the van and started chanting the license plate number out loud at the top of my lungs, like I was trying to memorize it. Then I ripped a notebook out of my backpack and pretended to write it down. After my little show, the van pulled a U-turn and peeled away. I sat on the curb and cried for about half an hour and walked home. I never told my parents about the incident.